the mic.
Get on the mic.
Just get on the mic. Get on the mic, Mike.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Get on the Mic. I'm your host, the Reel Geno Reynolds, and this is the program where you put me in front of a microphone with a few notes, and I talk about some of the more interesting things that have happened throughout the world of entertainment, or in the case of today, especially some things that I just need to talk about. We're going to be covering a lot today on the program. The first story we're going to be taking a look at is the Avengers 4 title possibly being leaked. Also, we're going to stay with the Marvel stories and talk about why Marvel is releasing 3 movies a year. We're going to be discussing the TV show Cobra Kai, and I will warn you that this story involves a big spoiler for Season 1 of the show, so if you haven't seen it and plan on seeing it, I just wanted to give you guys fair warning, and again, I will warn you when we get to the story. We're also continuing our, I guess it's a segment, What is DC Doing? And surprise, surprise, it's actually a positive story this time. We'll also talk about why hasn't Friday the 13th come back. We're going to be continuing our discussion about AMC versus Moviepass. There's a little bit to talk about there. We're going to be talking about my first Purge. You'll understand when we get to that one. And then in a bit of a serious story, personal story, I'm going to be talking about replacing past memories. The first story we're going to talk about is the Avengers 4 title possibly being leaked. After the events of Avengers Infinity War, there has been tons of speculation to what the title to Avengers 4 was going to be. I've seen tons of them, but the one that many people, myself included, have really gravitated to is Avengers Endgame. The phrase has been part of the Marvel Universe a few times now. Tony Stark calls Thanos the Endgame during Avengers Age of Ultron. During Infinity War, Doctor Strange tells Stark we're in the Endgame now. After he's given Thanos the Time Stone. Those are the two that I can recall. If the supposed leak that has happened is true, then Endgame is actually the subtitle of the new Avengers movie. The possible leak comes from Trent Opalock, who acted as cinematographer on Captain America Civil War, Winter Soldier, and Avengers Infinity War. He updated his resume page to include the upcoming Avengers movie, titling the movie Avengers Endgame. Now, this could be a mistake, highly unlikely, or just a working title, which is more likely. But now this addition has been changed on his resume to the more vague Avengers 4. While I think that this would be an amazing title, again, it's what I've been kind of making my prediction on. The Russo brothers have all but debunked this theory already. Maybe not so directly, but still put some doubt to it. When asked if the title was spoken within Infinity War, they said, quote, "No, but it's certainly grounded in the narrative that we have been following throughout the MCU. Very well grounded," end quote. Some other titles being tossed around the old internet are, here's just a few. Infinity Gauntlet, that one I'm probably going to debunk and on my own just say probably not. Secret Invasion, I think this one will be used later if the Skrulls get involved. Disassembled, being that I think the Avengers will continue after this. I mean, I not in the original form, but in some form, I don't think they'll use this one. And Forever, which, honestly, the only reason I don't think they'll use that one is because it sounds too much like Batman Forever. The one that was pointed out to me by Logan Jericho in the comment section of my Ant-Man and the Wasp review was Infinity Crusade. And I like this one because this title has a lot of connections to the source material. And I just think that this makes it a likely candidate. They do like to take some titles and stuff from the comic books, even though the stories aren't exactly the same, like Civil War, for example, or Winter Soldier, for example. There's similarities and aspects taken from the source material, but they kind of take the title and make it their own. So I honestly kind of see this one as a likely candidate. All that I can say is whatever the title is and what's going to happen in the movie is being kept a big secret. Marvel is even skipping San Diego Comic-Con this year. There's no Hall H for Marvel. I'm actually cool with not knowing anything, to be honest. I saw one teaser trailer for Infinity War before seeing it, and I'm glad that I did. No matter what they're planning, as I said in my review for Infinity War, I'm just now really looking forward to it and more excited than ever, even after 10 years worth of movies so far. Keeping with the Marvel subject, why is Marvel releasing 3 movies a year? I'm sure the typical answer that most people would give would be something like, well, Disney loves money, so... but in an article with Cinema Blend, Marvel head honcho Kevin Feige talked about the reasons behind the plan. He said, quote, "It's one of the reasons we've expanded to 3 films a year is so that we could do the sequels to films that people have responded to, because we love to make continuing stories with characters people have responded to, but also keep doing the stuff that nobody's ever heard of, and people go, why are you doing that? That's fun, and that's what Phase 1 was built on, Phase 2 was built on, Phase 3 was built on, is having that. Whenever we announce the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever we're going to announce, there will be plenty of those that maybe people in the know, like yourself," I guess he's referring to the interviewer, will know what they're doing, but the world at large will go, what is that? Why are they doing that? That's exciting for sure. Now, would they ever consider doing more than 3 movies a year? He commented on that also. He said, quote, "When you've got, what is it now, 6, 7 separate franchises, it's part of the scheduling process. Sometimes when people ask, what about this character? What about that character? I go, well, it's scheduling. And they go, what's he talking about? Scheduling. How many years between movies can you have? Thor, Ragnarok took 4 years. There's 4 years between, right? We had an appearance in between there, so that seems to be maybe okay. Sometimes, though, you want it to be less. Sometimes it can be more." He also commented on the good problem that they have with the Marvel movies. Quote, "Sometimes it's, sometimes it's where do those characters pop up? Doctor Strange, whenever we do another Strange movie, which, by the way, that's him, I believe, confirming Doctor Strange 2, which we will do, see. It will be a number of years from the first Strange, and yet he's a very big part of Avengers Infinity War. So it is just a good problem to have when you have too many beloved characters that people want to see more of, whilst keeping our core belief that we need to keep exploring nuance and keep doing different types of things." While not all the Marvel movies have been great, I mean, come on, we gotta admit, Thor 2 wasn't very good. It had its moments. Iron Man 2 isn't anybody's favorite. People are really split on Iron Man 3. I mean, there's people want to... I enjoyed the original Hulk, but then again, it's been forever since I've seen it. Everyone's got their favorites and their not so favorites. Even though not all the movies have been great, you can't argue too much with the MCU formula. I mean, come on. Everyone from DC and Warner Brothers to the Universal movie monsters to the Conjuring horror movies have wanted to steal their model and make it their own. So they have this model that works, and they're releasing 2 to 3 movies a year. And, for the most part lately especially, they've been really good. So, while most people would say it's the money, I'd say, well, I believe it when he says they're just trying to keep the stories going and keep things interesting. And if the stacks and stacks and stacks of cash also come with it, then you know what? That's just a perk. The next story we're going to be talking about is the Cobra Kai YouTube Red Show. And again, this involves a big spoiler for season 1 of the show. So I just want to give everyone a second to skip this video, or at least forward in this video, if you have any interest in seeing that show. So here we go. Have you seen YouTube Red's Cobra Kai yet? If you are a fan of the original Karate Kid movies, especially the first one, you should find some way to watch it. I won't say that it makes the price of admission to YouTube Red worth it, but it is by far the best thing that they've put out, by far. And again, if you haven't seen the show and still want to without spoilers, now is the time to skip ahead. All right, still with me? All right, here we go, because here's the big stuff. In the first season of the series, we get to see Johnny Lawrence begin to turn his life around by restarting the dojo that he grew up with, Cobra Kai, of course, much to the disgust of Daniel LaRusso. We begin to learn that Johnny was more of a victim than we knew about. Though he grew up in a rich family, he seemed like kind of the rich snob, rich kid, daddy takes care of everything kind of kid. We find out that he really still grew up in a broken and abusive home. That he's more of a tragic character than we get to see in the original Karate Kid. He ended up seeking out Cobra Kai sensei John Kreese, played by Martin Kove. And John Kreese, and Johnny's not the only character he does this to. John Kreese seems to prey on the emotions of these kids that are having a tough life. He kind of becomes their father figure to these kids, and then he of course uses them for his own sick plans. In the series, Johnny mentions during a scene excuse me, that Kreese has passed away, but we learn at the end of the season that this is not the case. Now, we're not told if Johnny really knew the truth or not. I'm sure that'll probably come with season 2. But the fact remains that the most dangerous foe of the franchise has made his return. After the shocking reveal and popularity of the series so far, again, it's fantastic and you should watch it, Martin Kove has been made a series regular for season 2, and it's a no-brainer. He was the one thing I wanted to see happen, and because I knew if you're going to redeem Johnny, he has to be a roadblock to that. In an interview with Sci-Fi Wire, Kove talked about what could be in store for his character and that we could be seeing a different side to it. He said, quote, "It's really interesting. The darkness that prevailed through John Kreese in those days is remembered by a lot of people. The interesting thing about what we're going to do is maybe he won't be so dark, but he'll still be on another agenda. Because, as you know, by the 10th episode, it looks like he's got it all together, but maybe he doesn't. And that's what's really interesting. Maybe he doesn't have it all together, and maybe he is a human being after all, which is exciting for me to play as an actor. Everybody gets used to seeing John Kreese and thinking death and Lucifer and all that, but how interesting it'd be if he has another side to him that is equally as effective, a vulnerable side that maybe might turn just as dangerous." End quote. Look, again, the show is great, and I can't wait for season 2. I believe it comes out next year. I don't know if they've put a real date on. They said 2009. As far as I know. With the rumors that Mike Barnes from Part 3 could be returning, the theory that one of the kids in the show, Miguel, could be the son of Terry Silver from Part 3, and other cool possible storylines, Season 2 could be shaping up to be amazing. Again, if you have not seen that show, find some way to watch it. I believe they offer a free trial of YouTube Red. Like I said, I won't say it's worth the price of admission, but it definitely is worth a trial of it to see it. All right, so now It's that time. What is DC doing? And I promised you, this is actually a good DC story. Details have come out on the DC Universe streaming service. We've been waiting to hear a lot about this. And a lot of information has come out about the service, which is officially titled DC Universe. Many thought that the service was just going to be streaming new shows, but it turns out that this isn't the case. The service will be a lot more than that. DC Entertainment publisher Dan DiDio has stated that they plan to build DC Universe into a one-stop shop for DC comic fans, with the digital platform offering a fan community forum, a DC encyclopedia, a merch store. Quote, "We wanted the DC Universe comic reader to be a blend of art and technology that would further enhance fans' experiences of the live-action and animated programming on DC Universe. This hand-curated selection from our decades of comic creation gives fans the thematic digital long box to carry with them on the device of their choosing, or lets them watch exclusive video content on a big screen followed by the comic that inspired it." So what all will the service be offering? And here's what we know so far. New TV series. Titans follows young heroes, and this is their official synopsis for these shows, by the way. Titans follows young heroes from across the DC Universe as they come of age and find belonging in a gritty take on the classic Teen Titans franchise. Doom Patrol is a reimagining of one of DC's strangest groups of outcasts. Robot Man, Negative Man, Elasti-Woman, and Crazy Jane. Led by the mysterious Dr. Niles Calder, they're called into action by the ultimate hero for the digital age, Cyborg. Swamp Thing follows Abby Arcane as she investigates what seems to be a deadly swamp-borne virus in a small town in Louisiana, but soon discovers that the swamp holds mystical and terrifying secrets. Young Justice, which is the return of the fan favorite series, which this is the big one I'm really interested in, because Young Justice was a fantastic show that didn't even get a chance to live up to its potential, and it was amazing in the 2 seasons they gave us. But it's a series with a huge cast of DC's most iconic young superheroes, plus brand new characters, many of whom are just discovering their unique meta powers and special abilities. Harley Quinn follows Harley's adventures after she breaks up with the Joker and strikes out on her own in this new adult animated comedy. But the service not only has these new shows, but older ones as well. There'll be shows like Batman the Animated Series, to Linda Carter's classic Wonder Woman series, and movies like Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox and Green Lantern First Flight will also be featured. And again, the service is going to have an archive of classic and current comics to look at. While there won't be every DC comic ever, the library will be extensive. There's no word when the official service will be available, but you can attempt to sign up right now for the beta access that will open up in August. You give your email, and they send you an email saying, "We may choose you." I did it. I know a bunch of people that have done it. If I get it, I'll definitely fill you guys in on how it is. Next, we're moving on to why hasn't Friday the 13th come back? When it comes to classic horror movies, they're always trying to bring them back in some way, shape, or form. They're talking about trying to reboot Freddy again. There's a new Halloween coming out that pretty much ignores all the sequels, etc. For years, after the latest reboot of Friday the 13th, people have been wondering, why hasn't there been another one yet? Some people, anyway. Sometimes I just wish they would leave it alone, but they're not gonna. Other than the popular multiplayer game that has come out based on the franchise, there hasn't been much seen of everyone's favorite hockey mask wearing villain. It turns out that there's really only one thing that can stop Jason. It's not Freddy. It's not outer space. It's not Manhattan. It's not the one counselor that just so happened to not have sex that night and also found mommy's sweater. Nope. The only thing that can stop Jason is Hollywood red tape. When asked why there hasn't been any Jason movies for a while, Friday the 13th producer Andrew Form gave us the answers. Quote, "There's a lawsuit going on and the rights are a little messed up, but rest assured we are doing everything we can to be involved with that, and we wholeheartedly believe that another version, another incarnation of Friday the 13th needs to be made and brought out to the world, and we're going to do everything we can to do it. Every year we look at the schedule and say, when's the next Friday the 13th? When can we have a movie already? We love Jason and we hope we can make another one," end quote. I know that this problem is not only messing with the movies getting made either. The popular video game is being held up as well. From what I understand, all the new DLC for the game has been halted because of the same issue. People are afraid of getting sued, and it's a mess. And honestly, I'll just put it this way. Friday the 13th is a franchise that I've been pretty tired of for a while. That being said, I am usually still willing to give another one a go when a new movie comes out. All right. And you knew this one was coming. AMC v Moviepass, dawn of just stop already. Don't worry. I thought this was going to be a short one, but then as Moviepass kept crapping the bed, we've got some more to talk about. The AMC side is at least short this week. On the AMC side, there's no real news, but I have been using the AMC A-list for a week, and I can tell you that it's pretty simple to use. They've taken their time to make sure that it runs smooth. There's not much more I can say about it. The A-list process feels like they have been planning it, and like I said last week, studying what doesn't work for Moviepass for a while now. I'll have a bit more on AMC theaters themselves in a bit, though, in a story a little later. That would be the Purge story. On the Moviepass side, and bear with me, some of this stuff I have notes for, and some of the stuff I just got an email about right before I started recording. On the Moviepass side, apparently Moviepass needs to raise more than $1.2 billion to become profitable. Well, I don't really understand all this. Apparently they have a plan to do so. Helios and Matheson Analytics, Moviepass's parent company, quote, filed a shelf registration that will offer institutional investors equity and debt. I don't know if I'd want to be offered debt, but anyway. In order to raise the $1.2 billion, they'll need for Moviepass to eventually become profitable. Helios and Matheson CEO Ted Farnsworth says he'll likely be able to access that entire amount over the next year or so. Farnsworth has also been saying that he looks forward to proving all those that have doubted Moviepass's sustainability wrong. He said, quote, "They've been predicting our demise for 8 months, and we're still standing." It seems like standing on one tippy toe, but now we'll have a big war chest behind us. This is a game changer, Farnsworth said. Now they know that we are not going away. From the way it sounds, their plan is to use some of the money to acquire other companies. Moviepass has already bought Moviefone and plans to turn it into their own sort of Rotten Tomatoes type site. Apparently much of the money will go to Moviepass Films, which intends to produce original movies of their own and use their millions of subscribers to bolster the success of the box office of their films. There's also Moviepass Ventures, which we've talked about before, which lets the company co-acquire movies with other distributors. If they put their money into that, hopefully they'll get more movies like American Animals and less like Gotti. And now I want to talk about Moviepass peak pricing, and this is what I just got an email for, so bear with me here as I bring that email up. They sent an email out today that's talking about peak pricing, but honestly, they tell you how it works, but they don't talk about how much, and I'm not surprised by this. The way this works is, and I checked my phone, I haven't gotten this yet, and they do say in this email that it hasn't rolled out to everybody yet, so those of you that have to deal with this crap, I'm sorry. What it is next to the movie time of a movie that has peak pricing, there'll be a red lightning bolt. And that means there will be a fee added if you watch the movie at that time, this certain movie at that time. So next, if there is a gray lightning bolt, it says indicates that a showtime does not yet have an added fee, but is growing in demand and could enter peak pricing soon. And then if there's nothing, it means there's no peak time. It looks like, I don't know what day it's talking about on the pictures they have here, but it looks like maybe times like the 7 p.m. times and 9 p.m. times might be your peak pricing. But then again, that could be showing, a middle of the day or a day in the middle of the week or something like that. It doesn't really specify. And then it says if you've selected a showtime with peak pricing, you'll see a confirmation screen with details on the surcharge. That's where they show you how much you're going to be surcharged. And what they have in the picture here says $3.43. So it's not even going to be an even price. They're just going to make up prices for these times. So that's going to get annoying if you're on Moviepass, not knowing. You can plan to go see the movie at that time, but all of a sudden it's like, well, by the way, we're going to charge you $4.72. One thing you can do on this is, I guess you get one freebie a month. So if you need to see one movie at peak price during a month, you can waive that fee, but only once a month. There is a frequently asked questions page, but people ask how much it'll be, and they don't even give a table or anything of how much this peak pricing can be. So yet again, Moviepass has crapped the bed on this whole change of theirs thing. That's going to be it for Moviepass v AMC, or whatever we want to call it, this week. That's all for now, but of course, I'll bring more info when it comes available. Hopefully they'll start answering questions about how much it's going to be before they piss everybody off. Okay, so this one I don't have any notes for. I'm just going to tell this one off the top of my head. My first Purge. Some of you have already seen my review for the first Purge on my channel, so you know how much I did not like that movie. But boy, oh boy, was my experience watching that movie long. I go to the theater, and I use my third of the week on my MCA list, which gets me the movie. That's fine. Also, this is preview night on a Tuesday because the movie came on Independence Day. So what's also cool about Tuesdays at AMC, and it was kind of the same for Carmike, you have discount popcorn and drinks. So you get like the little small popcorn, not the regular small, but the little, what small should be small, and a small drink for $5. So, I got the movie and I did the $5 popcorn drink. That's cool. Okay. I go into the theater. I go sit down, and the previews start. Cool. What I noticed is the previews are set up differently. AMC likes to do a lot of things where it transitions into their preview screen. It just doesn't pop up the green, "This preview is approved" thing. They always do like an animation in front of it. Well, they had a new one, and it was a commercial for the A-list, and it would go into and here's some of the movies you can watch. It goes into the green previews screen. And one thing I noticed was that, that was different. I noticed that they only showed like 3 previews, which normally you're looking at the shortest amount of time, 15 minutes of previews for a movie. Depending on what you see in kids' movies, it's worse because they want you to see every cartoon. And so your kids will be like, I want to see that. I want to see that. So I was like, wow, that's short. That's great. I'll get out here a little earlier. And the Purge was under 2 hours, so I could have got home a little early and got some sleep before I had to get up really early in the morning to go to work. Because I've mentioned this before. I go to work very early. 3 in the morning Central Time, kids, for the last 16 years. So I'm like, wow, I get home early. So, all right. It gets to the end of the previews, and now enjoy your movie. And then back to Muzak and blank screen. And of course, everyone's like, what the heck? Apparently, they had trouble with their little code that they get to unlock the movie for whenever they get these digital downloads now. It took them, long story short, it took them about 30 to 40 minutes of not telling anybody anything unless you went and asked to get this movie started. That's okay. I've been to a little bit later movies before. I was fine. And so I waited, and I was patient as I could be. I try to be patient about it. I mean, it's technology. But they finally get the movie started. Great. Well, it's still, when they get the movie started, it's still playing Muzak. But we see the images of the movie, and in the first Purge, it shows a character who has he's a crack fiend, and his nickname is Skeletor, and he has a scarred up face and messed up teeth, and so he's talking, and sweet Muzak is playing, whatever the Muzak music they play, it's always nice stuff. Just nice and gentle stuff, and you got Skeletor going crazy being interviewed at the first of this movie, right? So finally they get they stop the movie, then they start back up, and it's going, and the movie's going. It's like, okay, good, we're good, and we get to about 20-30 minutes left. And there's a scene, and sorry if this is a bit of a spoiler, it's not really spoiling a big thing, but there's a scene where a character, he cuts the power to this building so he can get the jump on the bad guys. So it's crazy how this worked out. He cuts the power, and then the movie cuts out. I am not kidding. It was right as a scene. He pulls the lever, the screen goes black, and then Muzak. And we're all like, what the heck? And then whatever it is they have now, whatever it is, Nuvi or Screen Vision or whatever, then that comes up. Boy, people are starting to get pissed off. I'm keeping my cool. I know there's technical difficulties. I figured, they'll just turn the movie back on and find the spot where we're at or near it. They'll start back up and they'll finish it. Oh, no. No, what they do. See, I go out and I talk to one of the managers. And I said, "There's no way you can start it back up. Near the spot. Can we finish the movie?" And she goes, "It says it's playing the movie, yet it's playing the Screen Vision or whatever it is." And so I'm like, well, and see, they're handing out free movie ticket, and they give a ticket for popcorn and drink for a later date or whatever. I'm like, look, I would love this stuff, and she's like, I was like, look, I need to see the movie. I can't go see it the next couple days. And I got to see this. I got to have a radio review ready for tomorrow. And I'm talking now. I got to have it ready for Friday. But I was like, this is the only time I can see it. I was like, I didn't want to do this, but I'm like, can I stay and watch it again? She's like, sure, you go ahead and stay. You go ahead and take a free movie anyway. A lot of them know me there. They know why I'm there. And I see a lot of movies there, and I give them a lot of business. So she's like, just go on in if you really want to watch it again. I'm like, I really don't, but so yeah. So then I sit through the movie again, and boy, is it, at least when it started, when it did start, it was a different open, and they didn't have the A-list into the preview thing. It was more of the normal one. Then there was a lot more previews, and of course, some of the people still there. Some people stayed. There wasn't many of them, but then some people realized that, nope, they're not going to put it back to where it was. We're leaving, which I don't blame them one bit. So then I sit through the movie, and I'm sitting through the movie, and it's like, ugh, I didn't like it the first time. And I thought maybe I'll catch some stuff. And I did catch a few things, cleared some things up. But still, I'm sitting there and it's so late. I mean, the second showing didn't start till... the movie itself didn't start till 9... I don't know, it was 9:30 something, 9:40 something. It was late. And so I'm sitting there watching the movie, and the scene comes up where the guy's going to cut the power. And I am praying to whatever I can to please let this movie not cut out. And the guy reaches up, he grabs the handle, he pulls it, the power goes cut, and the screen goes black. I'm like, oh crap. But no, thankfully that was just part of the movie. The screen going black was part of the movie. Then it comes back up and the lights are blinking and he's fighting guys and it goes on. Big collective whew for me, I'm just like, I do not want to sit through this again. I will not. It's like, I will go home and read a spoiler page. I just can't, because I was not liking the movie anyway. But movie finally gets over, and I'm sitting there. It's like, I know there's going to be some sort of mid-credit or after-credit scene. Sure enough, there was one. Apparently, they showed a trailer for the TV show. You can actually watch it on YouTube. At least you can watch a version of it. I don't know if it's the same one, but apparently there's a trailer for the TV show in the middle of the credits. But after they showed the first mid-credit scene, I'm just like, I'm out of here. It was them saying, yes, there's gonna be a Purge now. No, duh, it's a prequel. But yeah, that was my experience. My first Purge. I had to watch the first Purge twice in one night. I don't recommend that movie once, let alone twice, kids. Moving on. This is going to be more of a personal thing about me. It's about replacing past memories. And like I said, I'm going to get a bit personal here. So, look, many of you know this already. I do talk about this every now and then. I'm a divorced single dad. And those of you that have been through this, and those of you that have this in your life know how it is. It's hard. My ex-wife and I do a week on, week off thing with the kids. When they're here, you're on your own. And granted, I have one of the most wonderful women in the world is my mother, who helps out where she can. She helps me out by coming in the morning so I go to work early, and she gets the kids off to school or daycare or whatever it is, and helps me after if I need to. She watches them on Thursday nights when I need to go see a movie for my radio segment. I mean, I have help. I'm not saying I'm all alone, but I do have help. But it's hard. And when the kids aren't here, it's hard too, because you miss them. And when you've been through a divorce, it messes with your head a little bit. And this is not going to be a thing where I crap all over my ex-wife. It's not that. I mean, the reasons we got divorced were something I couldn't forgive. And that's all I'm going to say really about that. Me and her are okay now. We have an occasional spat about something, but we do okay. We both are trying to do what's best for the boys. This is, like I said, this isn't a thing where I crap all over her. And this isn't all just about her, really, because some of the things were before her and after her that I'm going to talk about. One thing that I've been trying to do for years is taking some of my past memories and experiences and making them my own. Let me give you some examples. Because maybe I'm looking to, I'm not saying wipe away the old memory, but I want to make a new memory of things that I enjoyed doing. I hope you understand this. For example, my honeymoon, We spent time in a cabin up in the Smoky Mountains. That's something I'd just kind of like to go. I mean, yes, that was a memory, but being how my marriage turned out, that makes it a rough memory, because were we really happy? And that makes me think about stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's something I'd like to go do again, just on my own or with my boys or something. I got to see David Copperfield when I was in high school on a date. This one probably won't happen again because of all the controversies surrounding him right now. But, you know, that's something that led to some bad memories. And so it's just, but I enjoyed that part and I would like to get that again. And there's just lots of things like that. I saw Weird Al Yankovic with my wife. This one will probably still happen again someday because, man, that guy don't stop touring. Here's one, and bear with me on this one. Bill Cosby. I got to see him we weren't married at the time, but I got to see him with my now ex-wife. I thought I had righted that one because I went to go see him again, but I went to go see him when I was with someone, and the whole us thing didn't work out. As the one person I dated and have dated since I've been divorced. And look, I'm happy for her because she found someone that makes her happy. You know, that's not about that either. But I'm happy for her. We weren't going to work, and I understand that, and she's happy now. I was going to go see him on my own after that. He was going to be near me, and then that performance got canceled because, you know, that issue he had come up. So that's not one I'm going to be fulfilling again. There's whether or not I want to, again, you know how confused I am about that whole situation. But again, that's not what the story is about. There's things like wanting to go back to, look, I know about this really fun fantasy suite hotel. And I could go do that, but it would be creepy as hell going alone. I'd have to find someone that actually want to go with me, and that's another story that depresses me sometimes. The one I want to talk about today kind of led me to some revelations in life, or at least trying to change some things about this whole wanting to change my past memories. Medieval times. I took my son for his birthday. We went to an arcade called Galloping Ghosts up near Chicago, and then Medieval Times. And look, I love my sons more than anything in the world. But I'd be lying if I said our trip went well. And I'm not going to go into any real details about why the trip didn't go well, because I'm not going to be a dick to my son like that. I love my son too much to talk about him and talk about him in a way that would be putting him down, because the things that happened between us is something that happened between a son and a father that a father has to deal with. So I'm not going to crap all over him by doing that. I just want to say that the trip didn't go well. And by this happening, let's just say I learned a lot about this little mission that I feel like I have to accomplish about, you know, replacing or fixing, whatever you want to call it, these past experiences. I just can't do it anymore. It's what I learned. And I'm not saying I won't try. My mindset won't want me to do it. But while there's some things that I still want to do again, I told myself that I have to stop trying to replace the past. I did these things that I really enjoyed, and I can't let what happened after ruin the happiness that I enjoyed. Even if the company I kept at the time isn't who I'd want to spend it with now. I think I still let the past hurt me way more than I should. I can't promise that there will be times that this won't still happen. But I know that I shouldn't and can't let it. One of the things I deal with, I deal with loneliness. I deal with the hurt of things that have happened to me. It's just, those of you that have been through this stuff understand this. Then again, some of you that maybe haven't been through it personally may have dealt with it, with it happening to your parents. But I have to beat this loneliness. I have to beat this hurt. And, this stuff holds me back. And I just can't let it anymore. And again, I'm not saying I won't want to do some of this stuff, but I can't make it like this mission anymore. I don't know. That's just something I've been thinking about, lately, because it seems like too many times I've tried to make it this mission. Things have not gone well, for me or others, in the case of, some of the people I talked about. But anyway, that's all I want to say about that. I needed to say it. I needed to say it out loud, and I needed to say it to somebody. So thank you for letting me vent a bit. Just saying it helps. I swear this podcast is like therapy sometimes. Anyway, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to quick hits. Let's get the serious stuff out of the way. Let's have a little bit more fun. Deadpool co-creator Rob Liefeld revealed the famous test footage that was created to pitch the original Deadpool movie was shot with Ryan Reynolds the weekend Green Lantern opened. Reynolds had wanted to make a live-action Deadpool movie prior to appearing in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he claims he was essentially pushed into taking the movie with the loose promise of a solo Deadpool spinoff somewhere down the line. Reynolds shot some test footage with director Tim Miller to pitch the studio. When, to the surprise of nobody, Fox head honcho Tom Rothman didn't get the appeal of the character, it lingered in development hell. Of course, the footage was, quote, leaked in 2014. We still don't know who did it, wink wink, nudge nudge, and the rest was history. It makes you wonder if Reynolds just, knew that Green Lantern wasn't really the character for him. I guess we'll never really know. In an interview, Michelle Pfeiffer admitted that she almost quit Ant-Man and the Wasp before the movie even started filming. The movie's director, Peyton Reed, shared this story, quote, I had no idea if she would be remotely interested in doing this kind of a movie again or how she'd feel about it, so we met. She came over and sat in one of the conference rooms, just the two of us at Marvel, and kind of talked through who Janet Van Dyne was in the comics and who she might be in this movie. She was really funny because one of the first things she said to me was like, I'm going to tell you up front, my process on every single movie I've ever done in my career, I've tried to back out of the movie at the last minute. That's just my MO. I have to say that thankfully he was able to get her to commit to the role because she's actually pretty good in the movie. He said, quote, after meeting her, it became more and more, now I'm convinced if she doesn't do it, I'm going to be a wreck. We gave her some comics and I said, you can scour the internet and do all the research you want, but it's only going to get you so far because the comics and that character started in the early 60s. A lot of the stuff in the comics is really two-dimensional, if not one-dimensional, and we want to do something different. We talked about what it could be, and I wanted her input throughout the in terms of her character without giving too much away. But for me, it was a thrill to be working with her because she is incredible, end quote. Here's a story that goes into the, well, that was quick file. Miles Teller has been cast as the son of Nick Goose Bradshaw in the newest installment of Top Gun, whatever they decide to call it. Last week, it was reported that crews tested with Teller, Glenn Powell, and Nicholas Hoult for the role. Not much else is known about the movie, but it is rumored that Goose's son will be trying to follow in the footsteps of his father. There is The Last Jedi fan poster that has been created just to piss off and make fun of those fans that want the movie remade. The poster seen here, I'll put it on the screen, has things such as a muscle-bound Luke Skywalker with sword and gun, not a blaster, a gun, a triple Death Star, a Super Shredder version of Kylo Ren, Rey in the kitchen, and other spoofs of the movie. I may have my issues with The Last Jedi, but the whole remake thing is pretty dumb, and I'll just let this masterpiece of trolling speak for itself. With the success of other horror franchises being rebooted, Child's Play apparently didn't want to be left out. Other than a script being that is being written by Tyler Burton Smith, the guy behind Kung Fury and the video game Quantum Break, not much else is known. The producers behind the sequel to A Quiet Place have confirmed that John Krasinski will be a part of it. Andrew Form had this to say about it, quote, "Oh, Krasinski is definitely involved. We're lucky on this one. I've had movies where the studio says to you, here's your date, let's go. And on this one, we're not rushing anything, which is amazing. So we're really going to take our time. We're going to figure out where to go, but there's no rush on it, and we're just starting to talk about it. We're figuring out what everyone's involvement's going to be and what the actual next movie is going to be. The first one is so special to us that we really want to take our time with this and not rush anything." Who knows how they'll fit John Krasinski's character in this, being that, spoiler alert, he died in the first movie. I'm willing to bet that it's going to focus on another family at the same time, but who knows? It could be a flashback. There's all sorts of ways they could use him. Zachary Quinto said that there's a possibility that Tarantino's Star Trek could feature the reboot cast. He said, quote, "Until deals are done and contracts are signed and schedules are cleared, nothing is set in stone, so anything can happen. My understanding is that Quentin had this idea and they were shaping it and forming it, and he is off to do his Manson movie. And it would be after that that the 2009 cast would go maybe do one with him, which is pretty exciting, pretty cool." Roseanne Barr may have been booted off her popular show, but that doesn't mean that she isn't already looking to return to television. She said that the offers have been pouring in. She said, quote, inside every bad thing is a good thing waiting to happen, and I feel very excited because I've already been offered so many things, and I almost already accepted one really good offer to go back on TV, and I might do it, but we'll see." She didn't get specific about any of these offers, so who knows what kind of truth is behind her statements. John Goodman and Danny McBride are going to star in a comedy pilot for HBO about televangelists. The duo will be playing father and son in The Righteous Gemstones. The show will tell the story of a world-famous televangelist family with a long tradition of deviance, greed, and charitable work, all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, according to the show's official logline. The project comes from McBride, who will write, direct, and executive produce in addition to his starring role. Scarlett Johansson has caught a lot of heat being cast as Dante Tex Gill, a trans man in the movie Rub and Tuck. Gill, born Louis Jean Gill, was a notorious massage parlor operator in the late 70s and early 80s Pittsburgh, who lived as a man adopting male clothing and hairstyles. Johansson's representative supplied those critics with a statement in response, quote, "Tell them that they can be directed to Jeffrey Tambor, Jared Leto, and Felicity Huffman's reps for comment," end quote. Tambor, Leto, and Huffman all successfully played trans roles in, respectively, the TV show Transparent, the movie Dallas Buyers Club, and Transamerica. Jim Carrey may be returning to a more cartoony role in the near future. It's been reported that he has been cast to play the arch nemesis of Sega's own Blue Speedster, Sonic. The diabolical scientist Dr. Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik. Little is known about the role, but I have a feeling that since this is a live-action animation hybrid, Carrey will be going back to the heavy makeup version of his career for this one. Then again, it may be mocap. You never know. Colin Trevorrow has hinted that more characters from Jurassic Park could be returning for him to ruin in Jurassic World 3. He said, quote, "We felt that this was Ian Malcolm's return," referring to this recent Jurassic World movie. "This was his moment. Let him have his moment. I feel that way about everyone, especially Laura Dern, and that she never got to have her own movie. That I identified as being something that's important. And this moment with Goldblum, because he had this very clear set of ethical questions that he was able to post for everybody. We just wanted to put the spotlight on him. As for Alan Grant possibly returning again, Trevorrow was asked if fans would be robbed if they didn't get to see the character return. He said, quote, "I totally agree with that. I would feel robbed too." For those that love Jurassic Park, it sounds like he wants to ruin everything for you. Edgar Wright has teased that there could be a Baby Driver 2 coming. On Twitter, he said this, quote, "Baby Driver was released 1 year ago today. Had a wild ride with it in the last 365 days. So I thank you for all your beautiful responses. It means everything. And who knows, maybe he could get back on the road soon," end quote. He then continued with this, quote, "Those talks are already in the works. The deal is being hammered out as we speak. So hopefully I'm going to at least write a second one. I've definitely got lots of ideas. Whether it's the next movie, I don't know. I'm just working that out at the moment. Actually, I have a couple of things I've been developing and also a couple of new ideas that I had and all the nice things that I've been offered since the release of Baby Driver. So I guess I need to find myself a generation I guess I need to find myself a Generation 1 iPod, crank up the volume, buckle my seatbelt, safety first, and get ready for another fun ride, hopefully." In an update to the Disney versus Comcast both wanting to buy Fox story, the Fox board recommended that its shareholders vote in favor of the enhanced $71.3 billion offer from Disney. Meanwhile, Comcast is reportedly scrambling to line up funding to top that bid. 21st Century Fox has set July 27th as the new date for a special meeting of its stockholders to consider the sale of many of its film and television assets to the Walt Disney Company. We're getting there. We're getting there. Indiana Jones 5 has been delayed because the filmmakers of the movie need a new writer. A report says that Jonathan Kasdan will soon be hired to start from scratch on a new script, replacing the current writer, David Cope, who is behind Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Kasdan recently teamed up with his father, Lawrence, to write the screenplay for Solo, a Star Wars story. There's no update on when the movie will now come out. Not really much is known about his character yet, but Idris Elba has been cast as the villain in the Fast and Furious spinoff Hobbs and Shaw. Just thought I'd share that awesome news. Showtime has ordered a 10-episode live-action drama based on the Xbox franchise Halo. They are calling it their, quote, most ambitious series ever. Showtime president David Nevins had this to say about the project, quote, "Halo is our most ambitious series ever. We expect audiences who have been anticipating it for years to be thoroughly rewarded. In the history of television, there simply has never been enough great sci-fi fiction. Kyle Killen's scripts are thrilling, expansive, and provocative. Rupert Wyatt is a wonderful world-building director, and their vision of Halo will enthrall fans of the game while also drawing the uninitiated into a world of complex characters that populate this unique universe." That's going to be the end of Quick Hits today. And now we're going to move on to the smaller YouTuber spotlight. Today we're going to be talking about a channel called Narcotic Casserole Productions. At the time of the recording of this podcast, Narcotic Casserole has around 200 subscribers. Founded by John Reed Adams, John and his crew, and in certain cases guest stars, tackle a wide range of entertainment. On this channel you can find a lot of different kinds of content variety. There's 2 different versions of the Cinema Schlock Society. The first show is where John plays a character called the Founder, and he and his panel discuss a movie, which also has a skit element involved throughout the videos. Sometimes there's a different theme to each of the videos as well, such as the Clash of the Turkeys. which pits two of the worst movies in a series against each other to see which one really is the worst. For example, they pitted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 from the first trilogy versus the rebooted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I'm sorry, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Then there's the Cinema Schlock Society Live, which is where you get to watch the panel that's behind the videos as they watch the movie and give their live reactions to it. You can also find reviews both in the non-spoiler and spoiler variety, a segment called Rare Delicacies, which takes a look at lesser-known movies, some reviews on some TV series, and much, much more. One of the things I like about John is that he's fun to talk to in the comments section. He seems to like to have back and forth intelligent conversations, and he keeps it cool as well. So if you want to check out Narcotic Casserole's channel, and you should, I will have a link to it in the description below. Do you want to be the subject of the smaller YouTuber spotlight? If you'd like me to take a look at your channel, please give me a link in the comment section below so I can take a look at it. The next few weeks, I'll take a look at some channels that I like or someone has turned me on to. And I've got a few in mind, but I would really like to hear from all of you about some of the smaller channels that you either run or that you enjoy. I could really use the help of the people that listen to this program to find some new channels. I love it when someone turns me on to a channel that nobody knows about. Now for a channel update. Talking Movies continues. Right now you can find reviews for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Sicario Day of the Soldado, Uncle Drew, and the first Purge. I'm hoping to get to my Won't You Be My Neighbor review soon. I have seen the movie. I just had a lot going on, and it's probably next on the list. I'm also going to try to be getting back to doing my Jessica Jones Season 2 and Luke Cage Season 2 reviews. With those, I may go back and watch them again before I do them. I want to make sure I do them right. It's hard to do TV shows when you're given full reviews on the whole season, especially if time has passed and you couldn't get to them. And for Jessica Jones, I just kind of forgot. And Luke Cage, it just got away from me because this podcast takes a lot of preparation and there was a lot of movies to watch and everything else. So, but I will be getting to them whenever I can. Gino's Bad at Games continues. I finished my playthrough of the Game of Thrones role-playing game, plus the game's DLC Beyond the Wall, so you can check all of that out on the channel. I'm still trying to decide when I'm going to be doing a big playthrough next. I think I know. I'm in between about 2 or 3 games, and it's probably more down to 2. I did buy, and these games I bought during the Steam Summer Sale, and I've got plenty of stuff to choose from. I got some role-playing games. I've got some third-person shooters. I got a few other smaller games to play. You can check out on Gino's Bad at Games. I did and I guess you could call it a revenge playthrough of the NES game Ikari Warriors. If you want to check that out, I call it a revenge review, and I'll explain that in a second. When I'm talking about Heisenberg's channel. And here's a new feature on my channel. To find any video that I'm involved in or videos from either officially or unofficially under the GB or videos that are officially or unofficially under the GB3 umbrella, make sure to check out the GB3 family playlist on the channel. I'm still building up to it. I've got videos from the GB3 channel on there, from Heisenberg's channel, from Artist Crimson's channel. I'm looking for all the stuff I've worked on with other people. I'm going to add that to the playlist as well. So if you want to check out some stuff that I'm involved with on other channels or from the people that I consider my family, and hopefully that'll grow, make sure to check out that playlist, GB3 Family. Also, I encourage you to follow me on Twitter and Facebook, mostly Twitter because I hate Facebook, where you can find me at the Reel Geno, ReelGeno. That's where you can find the latest channel news from me and from my GB3 partnership with Heisenberg and anything else I've got going on. And of course, I want to draw your attention to a few different things. The GB3 channel, GeekBCube channel. Right now, you can still check out GB3 Versus, which is Bill versus me in a head-to-head trivia match with special guest host Mrs. Nerd herself, Danielle. You can also check out Heisenerd's channel, which he does gaming live streams and Let's Plays. He's been playing through a game called Hollow Knight, which is a Metroidvania style video game. Also, you can see why I did the revenge playthrough of Ikari Warriors because on Bill's channel, glitches and poor game mechanics stopped us from completing our playthrough of that NES classic. Make sure to check out the pain there. Anyway, that's going to be all for Get on the Mic this week. I know it's been a bit of a different program, at least bits and pieces here and there. There's just some things I needed to say, and I'm glad you guys let me say them and, take the time to say it. I want to thank you all for your support. I'm going to have a busy weekend. I'm not sure how much I'm doing or what all I'm doing. I am going to be taking part in the Cinema Snobs Indiegogo live stream that he's doing on Saturday. I believe it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. On Saturday Central Time. They're doing a live stream to try to get funding for another Cinema Snob movie, and I'm going to help him out with that. I think I'm going to be on some. I'm not sure how much, but I am going to be involved in that. But I encourage you guys that if you can, help support his making of that movie. When they make these movies, they're not for everybody, and he knows that. But for fans of his, for fans of Brad's, he makes those movies with a lot of love of film and a lot of love of his fans in mind. And when he makes these movies, he really puts his all into it. There's people that make movies out there that independent movies out there, like on YouTube and stuff, that you can tell they didn't give it their all. Brad's not one of those people, whether it be his movie Disco or Jesus Bro, whether he's directing or just writing or acting in it. He gives it his all, and if you can, try to show him a little support. And again, he's doing a live stream on his YouTube channel, Stone Gremlin Productions, this Saturday to talk about the movie. They're going to be doing some games and things like that. It's going to be a 12-hour live stream. Like I said, I believe it's 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to be there. I'm not sure who he has coming, but make sure if you get a chance to check it out. And if you can support the movie, go ahead and do that too. I will go ahead and put a link to the Indiegogo page in the comment section or in the info section below on this video. That's going to be all for Get on the Mic this week. Hope you guys have enjoyed the program. Thank you so much for your support. And again, thank you so much for letting me speak my mind the way I need to speak my mind. I hope you guys have enjoyed the program today. As always, I am your host, the Reel Geno Reynolds. See you later. Peace.